In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
Hello. That went much better that time.
Yeah. We just got like 40 minutes into the podcast and realised the microphone wasn't turned on.
That's not true. We got 30 seconds in and we realised it was on mute. Right, we know what day it is now, don't we? Kind of, and what we're doing after Christmas. You know, that weird time between Christmas and New Year where you really haven't got a clue what's going on or what day it is.
It's kind of several days past Christmas, but not yet New Year.
It's Monday, the 8th of January, and we are drinking Spanish gin. We're drinking, if you're watching the YouTube, we are drinking Ampersand gin, which was a gift from Harriet and Rickard. Thank you very much, guys.
Hello.
Harriet is my wonderful assistant who just makes my life so much easier and is just basically ace. And she's also running her own business teaching burlesque in Barcelona, and she's starting a new fitness and kind of mind-body fitness business as well, which is really exciting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and we met them in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago and they brought us some gin, which is great.
Always welcome.
So, cheers. Joe, Happy New Year, listeners.
Happy New Year, everyone.
So, our next door neighbour Barbara loves this gin as well. She's like,
she has had some
different. Of it. So that's really cool. Okay, so following on from last week's Punched in the Face Proof plan, shall we see how I've been doing with my own goals and actions and things? Because we were talking quite a lot about, you know, what people can do to make it more likely that they will follow through on their plans, really.
Okay, sure.
And
you sound pretty like you've got good news.
I've got amazing news. That was very good acting there, Joe. Well done.
I guess if it was all going horribly, we'd be doing a podcast about something else.
Well, maybe. No, probably not, because I will be truthful about my, you know, wins and losses. But yeah, I mean, I just think that I'm okay with telling people how it goes and the good stuff and the bad stuff, because if I'm kind of making everybody else knuckle down and change their delinquent ways, then I feel like I should be walking my own talk, really. And I have indeed been walking my own talk.
So is this a New Year's resolution that you've done?
No, it's a cunning plan, Joe.
Okay.
And I just wanted to find out if my cunning plan was cunning enough.
Mm-hmm.
So cunning that you could...
No.
Why?
No.
So cunning that you could tie a bow tie on it and call it a weasel. Blackadder fans are probably cursing my name right now.
Tumbleweed.
Oh man, I find myself funny. At least I find myself funny. Anyway, so we're kind of back to what passes for normal around here, but last week was a bit odd.
Back to work, getting stuff done, stuffing bubble wrap into holes in the house.
Oh yeah, because I pushed a brick out the wall.
We were having a little bit of a measure, and Vicky poked at something, and a brick fell out of the house. No,
what actually happened was you said, could you just move that a little bit? So I moved it, and then I was like, it's going to fall out of the house, and then I let go of it.
Now we have a brick-sized hole in the side of the house.
It's quite big. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, it's like that big.
It's about the size of a brick.
It's fine. And then it got really, really windy. And then I went to London, which was great, because then it got really, really windy.
Yes. So I got to stick bubble wrap in holes in the house and try and sleep as trees smashed themselves to bits in the woodland and branches rolled up the road, and
chickens were like, what's going on?
Yeah, chickens were not happy.
Excuse me.
Easy.
So
talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
So last week, I had 2 days off last week, basically, and that's important for what's going to follow in a moment about my progress and stuff. I went to London with my mom, my grandma, who is my mom's mom, and my niece.
That's pretty cool.
That's like 4 generations.
Yeah, 4 generations
of Quinn women. Actually, Edwardson women, technically, because my grandma is obviously not a Quinn. But we went to see the Nutcracker Ballet. And it's really cool. And my gran, by the way, I should point this out, my gran is 90 years old. She's 91 this year. And she spent 2 days going around Covent Garden, going to the ballet, and then walking around the Science Museum with us. That's epic.
Made of tough stuff, those Yorkshire girls.
Yeah, and she had a really great time. She sat down a lot, and so I think she's probably knackered now. She's probably still recovering, but I just think she's epic. She's completely awesome. Anyway, and then we went to the Science Museum the next day, which was completely ace. So that was basically 2 days off. Does that mean I slacked off?
No, it means you scheduled 2 days off.
I scheduled 2 days off.
Is it scheduled or scheduled?
Well, we're British, so scheduled.
Yeah, I thought so.
But, language changes. I'm fine if people want to say scheduled.
Yeah, it's no problem being wrong.
Right. Anyway, so hell no, I did not slack off. I used some of the time on the train to write my book, to write notes for my book. I stretched my splits and my bridge in the hotel with my niece because she's very stretchy as well. And I scheduled the days around London very tightly, very carefully. And so here's what I kind of just wanted to talk about, what I actually achieved last week and what I've achieved today as well and over the weekend. It's Monday the 8th of January right now. And you know what? Some people are probably going to roll their eyes at me and think that I'm bragging and being a self-righteous douche canoe, and, and I actually don't give a shit if that's what people are doing right now, because I'm not a douche canoe. Well, not for that reason. And I'll explain why in a moment. But here is what I did. I'm really proud of this. So I created...
This is over how many days?
This is over... So this is from... Because I did some work on New Year's Day.
Okay.
So this is Monday to Friday.
This is basically a working week.
Yeah, basically a working week.
5 days.
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
Whiskey.
5 days.
5 days. Plus today.
6 days.
Yeah. So... Here's what I did. I created a detailed outline for my new book, and I wrote the preface, introduction, and half of the first chapter.
Okay.
It's just first draft, so it'll need polishing. I collected a bunch of research for other areas of my new book, which is very interesting. I wrote a sales page and set up email automations for the free webinar that will have happened by now, by the time you listen to this, on exactly this stuff that we're talking about, getting stuff done. I did half an hour's stretching every single day except for Sunday, because a day off is a good thing, especially when you're stretching your body. I did the critical actions for our project. Well, we did the critical actions for our Project Dingle renovation. So we spec'd the stuff that we'll need, and you've ordered it, haven't you?
Yes.
And yeah, we've planned it all out, how we're going to do it. I've completed the final chapter of the first draft of my client's book, which I was pleased with. I wrote my email every day. I drew a cartoon every day, even if one of them was a quick doodle of Joe's face that wasn't particularly flattering, that I drew in bed. And we went on a date.
That's nice.
On Sunday, we had lunch in Hereford, and we got all excitable about our dingle plans, and you drew pictures on napkins, which is nice. And I spent 2 days in London with my mum, my grandma, and my niece.
That's a pretty good work balance.
It's a pretty good work balance. I'm really pleased with that. And also, I forgot to put on this list, I've also done a couple of critiques for my superheroes. Available on the forum. I've sorted out the forum for my superheroes. I've kind of been doing that all week as well. So I'm really bloody proud, actually. And the reason I'm not a self-righteous douche canoe is that I did not get up at 5 a.m. or anything close to it.
You did not.
I have not been eating kale.
No.
I am not claiming superhuman powers, and I did still get more distracted than I actually would have liked to have done. I've had a little bit of a faff on a computer game that I'm playing on my phone. I have, done a bit of reading. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I've been doing, is reading the Bookaholics Anonymous book for this month.
And we've done a bit of slouching around on the sofa. We've
done a bit of slouching around. We've been watching Peaky Blinders and RuPaul's Drag Race. Do it. You need to look at the YouTube for this week, because
no, you don't.
Because Joe does it really good. Do it again.
No, it's done.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh man. Anyway,
this is enough.
It's never enough, Joe. So yeah, I did do a little bit of work on Sunday, and I did do a little bit of work on New Year's Day, but I did that because I wanted to and because I felt motivated, and not because I felt like I had to. And I actually got really into it, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Haters gonna hate if you're gonna hate me for being all proud of the progress that I've made this week. That's cool. But I'm really proud of myself and my progress because I have struggled. The last year, I have struggled to get as much done. I've been very frustrated, haven't I, with myself?
So what is it? What is it that's made the difference then? Why the newfound oomph? What's happened?
It is. I'm going to cover this in the webinar that will already have happened by now, but there'll be a replay going on next week. So
cool.
People, if you want to be in on the replay, then drop me an email and I will make it available to you, maybe, if I'm feeling, generous. But I think it's because we did all the stuff. Well, I did all the stuff that we talked about last week. What do I really want out of my business? And what is my short to midterm goal? And, just focus, pick one thing and focus on it rather than trying to do 53 things at once.
So, quick recap of last week
was, my long-term vision is eventually I want 3 months off a year and I want to run a donkey sanctuary or possibly become a marine biologist. I haven't decided yet.
You've picked your vision.
Pick my vision. The short-term to 3-year goal is to get our kitchen built because
build an extension on the back of the house.
I bloody hate it. And the vision is of our family all sitting around eating Christmas dinner in the kitchen. And then I was like, well, what's going to get me there? Blah, blah, blah. I've got all these things to do. I'm going to pick my next book, which is going to position me as the person who is the expert in helping you to stand out, to be more interesting, because that is what I'm really good at.
Okay.
And so that's the book that I'm writing. And it's like, okay, I'm not just writing a book. It's like 1,000 words a day or the equivalent thereof.
So then next step is what? 12-week goals?
12-week goals, yeah. And my 12-week goal is to write this book.
Okay. 12-week goals.
Broken down.
In business, in personal life, in
fitness.
House, in fitness.
Yes, for us. We've got the dingle as well. It's like that other people might have other stuff, but
sure.
They obviously don't have a dingle.
If you have a dingle, write in.
Yeah, do. That would be cool if you have a dingle. So I am feeling really excited about what I've got going on in the new book I'm writing. I haven't struggled to get started at all. And you know what? This might wear off. I'm aware that it's only early days. I'm second week into this. But I think this is going to stick because I have, normally by the time I'm a week into something, I'm like, I can just go I'm going to be distracted by this computer game, or I'm going to be distracted by, whatever. But
almost anything else
in the world. But I think the key is that I have built, and people will, if they saw the webinar, they'll understand this. I've built into my day gaps. So it's not like I haven't got I'm writing my email and then directly after that, I'm going into my critical book writing action. So I've got a 15-minute buffer in there that I get up, I might go and feed the chickens. I might wash up. I might do the laundry. I might simply sit down and read a book for 15 minutes. But I've built in these breaks. I've got buffers which are working brilliantly. So it's like, you know what? This is the half hour that I'm going to spend going through my emails and checking my emails and dealing with stuff that came up. If something came up today, I got an email from one of my clients and she was like, oh, can you just do this? And I was like, yes, because it's arrived in my buffer zone. I'm going to do it right now because that's what my buffer zone is for. And it's just worked like a dream. And I'm not knackered. I'm not stressed, which makes me wonder if I've forgotten something. But yeah, it's and I've broken my big goals into really manageable bite-sized tasks. And I've done that with my client stuff as well. I kind of did that with my client stuff anyway, because I needed to get that. I need to get that done because they pay me. But I've done it to even more of an extent, if that makes sense. And I've broken it down very specifically. And I haven't got massive blocks of time that I'm like, right, I'm going to work on my clients for an entire day, because that's actually quite intimidating. It's like I've got different blocks of time. I might have 3 hours here, 3 hours there later in the week, another 3 hours there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it just is less intimidating. And it's suddenly everything I'm doing is suddenly much more enjoyable. Even the stuff that before I really struggled to get going with. I know, Whiskey, yes. So
Whiskey likes that.
Whiskey likes that idea. But I'm not the only one, am I, Joe? What have you been up to this week? Tell the listeners what you told me in the car about your time monitoring. Because all this is sinking into you, isn't it?
So I'm becoming aware that one of the things that I spend a lot of time doing is just context switching.
Which is bad.
I run a small team of guys with different specialisms about which I know some things. I generally I'm the keeper of the overall picture, and then I have guys doing tasks. And very often they come to me and say, oh, what about this? And, oh, man, this thing doesn't work. And, Jesus, this isn't documented properly, and all that kind of stuff. So I find myself switching between clients, between projects, between staff members, between the tasks that I actually have to do, generate documentations, just think about things and design stuff, deal with customer relationships, deal with everything that the customers throw at me. So I one of the things I'm guilty of is jumping from task to task to task to task to task. And
that's a very bad thing.
And as a consequence of that, the things that I've got, when I sit down and say, right, this week, Monday, I need to write this specification. And then 600 things happen during that day that mean I don't write the specification.
Yeah. Can I just stop you there? Because it's probably a good idea to explain why context switching is bad. This is like the myth of multitasking.
Yeah, for me, certainly it's bollocks.
No, nobody can do it. Your brain can only focus on one thing at once. And they've actually done some research that shows that it takes 15 minutes for your brain to get back in gear again once you've been distracted with something else.
So in order to monitor my context switching, I quickly knocked up a little bit of VBA.
What's VBA?
Visual Basic for Applications. Just a quick and dirty way of making some stuff. Anyway, so now I've got a button in the corner of my desktop that whenever someone goes, "Oh, Joe, can I just press this button?" and a little counter goes up by 1. And if I wish to, I can put a little comment in that says, "Oh, Simon's just asked me about this." So I'm just kind of monitoring how many context switches I get through per day. And so far, it seems to be about 30.
That's insane. So what are you going to do about this? How is this monitoring that you're doing going to affect your future sanity?
There's a few different kind of suggestions so far. I could tell people I'll deal with their bullshit at 2:00 in the afternoon and not before, which will mostly make them figure it out themselves.
Which is a good thing.
And come to me with a plan rather than a problem.
Well, that's a good thing.
Which would be great.
You're empowering them, then.
Depends who's making the decisions. I could do. There's all kinds of things I could do. I could lock myself in a room and just not answer my phone. I could only read my emails at set times during the day, like you do, which I think is probably a good idea.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can we just stop there and could you repeat that?
It's probably a good idea.
Thank you.
Although I do sometimes have customers who are actually currently on fire when they contact me, and that's difficult to ignore.
But you can set up systems to deal with that. So,
yeah,
they ring if they're on fire. Surely they should be on the phone. At which point they ring your phone answering service.
Yeah. You could put a system in place to make it less directly into my working day.
Okay.
But yeah, when somebody, I'm trying to think of an example who isn't actually one of my customers. If somebody like
probably shouldn't name names.
Surely shouldn't name names. Okay, yeah. Massive company discovers they suddenly can't build cars today. They get a bit upset quite quickly.
Well, and that's reasonable because it's going to cost them millions of pounds a second, isn't it? So, but yeah, there has to be a system to stop that happening.
Everything
30
in the world trashing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Because if they're 15 minutes each, that's lots of time.
Yeah, more time than is needed to get stuff actually done.
Yes.
So yeah, there's kind of all sorts of lessons there, and I would really recommend that everybody listening to this does exactly what Joe is doing. I mean, don't get all nerdy with the VBA, but every time you have to context switch,
get nerdy with the VBA. It's fine.
No, because then they'll waste loads of time learning it. Unless, if you know VBA, I don't even know what that is. If you know VBA, then do it. Otherwise, get a piece of paper and a pen, and every time you have to context switch, every time you get interrupted with something, then just note it down and just see how many times you get interrupted. And if you can note down what it is that interrupts you, because one of the things that I suggested to Joe was, because he was like, oh, there's so many of them. I was like, well, pick one thing that you know you can fix out of this list of stuff that interrupts you every day. Pick one thing that you know you can fix, and that's your focus for the next week. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to stop this from happening.
Yeah.
And then you pick the next thing, and then the next thing, and eventually nobody will ever bother you again.
If anybody wants a context switch monitor, let me know, and I'll email you one.
Oh, well, hey, there you go. Can we give them your email address?
Nope.
Oh, man.
But they could contact you, and I'll bounce something on.
Yeah, if you can email me, Vicky at vickyfraser.com, and I will pass it on to Joe and he will build you some nerdy software.
It's not very nerdy. It's fine.
For free, because he's a nerd. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we're kind of getting to the end of the...
We're running out of time.
We are running out of time. I was going to ask you about the new dude at your offices and what he's doing and why I'm so delighted about it.
So one of the things my business does is everybody's so bloody busy that there's nobody to run the business. And nobody to design how the business should run. So what we've done is we've just employed an interim ops guy who is deeply experienced in designing the internals of companies.
Which is
awesome.
So needed for you guys, because you've got such a great business, such a great company, and it just
we've got good technology and we've got good technical people, but we don't really have people who run the business.
No, it could be
just a bunch of engineers kind of making it up as we go along.
Yeah,
really.
it's a good business and it could be an amazing business.
Yeah,
basically.
So it's interesting times at my work. It's good fun.
We've mentioned your work loads of times. I'm really tough because I can see so clearly how amazing your company
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm actually quite looking forward to some output of it. He's only been in a week now, so he's busy just rolling his eyes and going, "What the fuck are you lot up to?" But at some point soon, it's all going to start coming out.
Cool. Oh, I'm really chuffed. Yeah. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the time we have available. So what's the takeaway?
If you weren't on the seminar, not seminar, the
webinar call
there you go, webinar call thing, technical term, then catch up, get on the replay.
Yeah, do, because it's going to be really, really good and it's free. And, then you're going to listen to it and be like, oh my God, she's amazing. I need her to do all kinds of shizzle for me.
But it's actually making a difference, isn't it? It's having 12-week plans, cracking on with it, feeling energised and getting it done.
And this is what I do with my superheroes. And a whole bunch of them have posted up their 12-week plans in the forum. And I'm so excited to see what they're working on, because it's not like I'm doing all this stuff and I'm really stressed out about it. It's like, here is the thing that I'm working on. And here are my ways that I'm going to do it. And it's just very, very exciting. Yeah. I'm really excited for everybody. So if you're going to have one takeaway apart from come on the seminar, webinar, it's like pick one big goal, make it your total focus, and then break it down into tiny bite-sized pieces. Because it just, I cannot tell you how much of a difference.
Have a short deadline. Don't have a deadline for like 12 months time or this time next year.
Because you won't do it. This time next year, Rodney, we'll all be millionaires.
Yeah,
it's like you won't. So, and if you're struggling with this, get somebody who knows what they're doing to help you. Hello! I am available. There is the Superheroes group, which is, at vickyfraser.com/inner-circle. Or I am now offering a 12-week coaching plan to get you through your first 12-week year. And we will cover everything from goal setting to time management to ownership to incentives to measurement to results, everything. If you're interested, it's not going to be cheap because I am a classy lady. Don't laugh. But if you really want to achieve a goal and you want to achieve it fast in the next 3 months, and you want to set in place habits that are going to see you through, then I've got coaching slots available. I've got 3 coaching slots available. 3. Because one of my book coaching clients is finishing fairly shortly. I bloody hope. Not in a bad way, because I hope he's going to, finish his book.
Because he's written his book.
But if you would like to ask me about that, you can email me, Vicky@vickyfraser.com, and we will see if you qualify. It's going to be one-on-one coaching, no distractions, no excuses. We will get shit done.
Cool.
So, and I would really like to work with some more people doing that, because I've had really good results working with people one-on-one in the past, and I love doing it. It's really good fun.
That's where the fun is.
It is. So, next week, I will be in Canada.
International business lady,
staying with my sister from another mister, Misty.
Right. Hi, Misty.
Hi, Misty. We are doing a micromind mastermind in Narnia, because she lives in Narnia.
Is it really Narnia?
Yeah. Well, she lives just outside Toronto in a farmhouse, and she sent me a video. It's like -40 there at the moment. She sent me a video of just snow falling, and it's just like Narnia. It's beautiful.
It's not actually Narnia.
So yeah, she's asked me to come and speak and do a little seminar. So I am now an international speaker.
Sweet.
Which is pretty cool.
I hope she's paying well.
She is basically chauffeuring me around for a weekend and putting me up, and also I can't wait to meet her in person, because we've been doing accountability stuff back and forward every week for the last year, really.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And I will be interviewing Misty about how she beats business owners into shape and shows them how to write better emails.
So she's coming on the podcast?
She is coming on the podcast next week.
So I get a week off?
You get a week off?
Sweet.
So yeah, Misty will be there, and she's very entertaining, and we will try not to shriek too much.
You're going to do it mostly sober, right?
Probably not, no. It might be a drunken podcast. I'm going to try and have a vague semblance of professionalism. Call to action. Well, join Bookaholics Anonymous, because it's free.
Yes.
We're reading the E-Myth this week, which is the E-Myth Revisited, which actually goes back to what you were saying about running a business. It's not enough to just be good at what you do. You have to be able to run the business. And it's a really interesting book. It can be a little bit dry in places, but I've got into it a little bit today. It's very interesting, all about how there are at least 3 people inside your head. The technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur, and they all fight with each other.
Okay.
It's very interesting. We have a monthly call, 30 to 45 minutes on Zoom, and we talk about the top 3 things you learned from this book. If you want to join, go to vickyfraser.com/book club and sign up. Totally free. Or you can join my superheroes crew and actually get stuff done instead of just, talking about it and hoping results will land in your lap like most business owners do. And you can do that by going to vickyfraser.com/inner-circle, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. And we implement, this is what we do, we implement all this stuff that I'm talking about. If you like this podcast, please go to iTunes and subscribe, leave us a review, rate us highly,
Tell us we're amazing.
Tell us we're amazing. It'll help more people find us, or please share it. If you know somebody who will enjoy this nonsense, send them a link, vickyfraser.com/podcast.
And that's about it.
Yeah. I just want to also give a shout out to Podfly, who produce the podcast for us every week.
Hi, Podfly guys.
And I don't thank them enough. They do a really brilliant job of basically tidying up the mess that I sent them. And they produce the show notes and they make sure it goes out everywhere. And I really, really appreciate all the work they do. So if you are thinking of starting your own podcast, Podfly are great.
Good guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a splendid week, people. And I will be back same time next week. And Joe will be back in 2 weeks.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.